Hi everybody, welcome back. So today in this video we're going to be showing you exactly how we make our cactus benches right here. As you can see, they're great for if you just want to store a couple cactus around, say, an apartment, a house. They're really sturdy, they're protected by the rain, so we're going to show you step by step how we make them, how we prepare them, put the cloth on, paint them. We also have a materials list as well, so you can make them for yourself as well for your place.
Yeah, so we're going to build some more cactus benches. And we're starting out. Here's the wood I bought a while ago. Some we already cut. These pieces here with a different saw. But now we're just gonna cut all these and with that saw over there. It works great. And we'll show you how to build these benches. It's not too hard. I built a lot of them though. Yeah, so we're gonna replace these because they're getting weather worn. They're still functional, but it's hard for me to put the plastic on them. Okay, so we cut all these pieces. This is treated wood. This is what's going to sit on the ground. And this time I made them a little longer because sometimes they tip over. So when we have them, they're going to be this landing side down, and this is going to come out here, and that should help them more stability. This is a new thing, and we're just going to attach these pieces we cut. I'm going to make it sure that this is a little bit longer. I want him to touch the ground, but I want him to be straight. Otherwise the whole thing's crooked. Then you always want to drill pilot holes before you put screws in, so you don't crack the wood. And so I use 2 drills because I don't want to keep changing the drill bit. And then I'll use like this kind of screw.
So an important thing to note when you make these 2 pieces, these are the sides of your benches. This won't be how long they are, but just to give you an idea, you want to make sure that these brace pieces here are oriented like this. Otherwise, you'll end up with all of them on the same side. You won't be able to make it. So you want to make sure that to make one bench, this is the orientation that you have, each here on the insides of the backs. So this here would be like something you don't want, where you have the braces here on opposite sides. So this would be an example if you made the piece the same. So these two pieces were made the same, but as you can see, the brace parts here aren't oriented correctly. Here, the slant part here is oriented with the slant part here on the top. So you want to make sure that when you make these, to make one bench, that these brace parts here are on the inside of the wood, not in this kind of orientation like this.
Another wood glue, yeah. The bottle's kind of screwed up. It is. These are the uprights. There we go. Now you just have to screw them from the other side probably.
Okay, so now that we have these 2 backs assembled, you can kind of see now the general shape the bench will take. So the next step will be, we want to put in this piece here on these supports that we put in the previous step. Right there.
We're going to put a screw through here, and then we're going to put an angle iron here.
Right, yes, that way it's nice and stable, nice and supported, so that when you have all your weight of, soil, cactus, pots, all that, it won't collapse. It'll be nice and sturdy and supported. And movable
and
too.
last a long time.
Yes, and hopefully last you a fair amount of time. So that'll be the next thing that you'll set up as well.
Yeah, so now we have this cross piece. So we take these 2x2s, which are the exact same width as this 1x10, which is a 9 1/4. It's not 10. So we put these like this, and then this guy fits like this. We're going to put him like that, and then this guy goes here. And then we have, this is where the cactus go. And we're going to put a cross piece right here to support it and screw everything together. This is the top, or the bench, and then we'll build the top next.
So a trick is when you have to put one of these long screws in, so to kind of help it bite into the wood is the soap trick. You take a bar of soap and just kind of rub your screw on it, make sure the threads have soap on it, serves as kind of like a lubricant. So when it goes into the hole, it drives in a lot easier. So you can see here now we have more of the frame. You can really see it start to take shape. We have the two braces here, the walls of it on each side, the supports there on the bottom, as well as the actual bench top there. It's glued, it's nailed in there, it's nice and sturdy. So now we just have to build the top part here, which we will show you next.
So this is the top. This will hold the shade cloth and it'll wrap around. We'll do that after we paint it. 2x2s. 4.5 feet. Then you just, these are like around a little over 8.5. You measure it after you put these two on, then you can measure and cut these. And then I put these at 19.5 inches on the center, from here to here. It's just matching what I've done before. You can put these pretty much anywhere you want, but it's best to have them evenly spaced so the shade cloth, and then when you put plastic over it for when it rains, it doesn't sag.
So we put these two brackets in just to prevent these inner beams from twisting around. This holds them in place. All right, so the last thing we did is we added this piece here as sort of a support, a brace for the outside to hopefully help it prevent it from cracking in the future, since these will be outside. They'll have, you know, heat, sun, rain, all that. So to hopefully help prevent any cracking, keep it nice and sturdy. And then this piece here is where the handle will screw into, and it also helps keep everything supported, keep it braced in the future. So here's just a side-by-side comparison of the old bench and the new bench. This will be replacing this one. And you can see here, these benches here are about 15 years old. They have been through tons of weather. We had these in Arizona, so it was even more hot, more intense sun. But you can see here, especially down here, the wood is just warped. It is cracked. And it doesn't have that middle piece there where the handle is. So this one here should be more robust, more sturdy, hopefully can withstand, you know, some of the stress of the elements over time a little bit better. So this is what two benches look like put together. You can see there's a bit of a gap there in the middle. That's okay, it's intentional. It's to let air kind of flow through the benches, have good airflow, because when they're entirely finished, they'll have screen over the tops and everything. So this gap here lets air flow through, keeps it well ventilated. And for ours, we made sure these bottom parts were a little bit longer, just because we have some pretty gnarly wind here. So the hope is that once this thing is weighed down with, you know, plants or whatever, it'll help prevent it from blowing over. These will kind of help keep it more sturdy on the ground. But yeah, this is if you make two of them, you can put them together as this sort of house. If you only need or want one, you could just make the singular bench and have it open down here in the middle, or put screen on it. The nice thing about these is they're pretty customizable to whatever your needs are. We're gonna put handles on these, but if you wanted, you could put wheels or something else. You know, it's pretty customizable to whatever your needs are.
Yeah, we're gonna put shade cloth on.
All right, so now we're gonna put shade cloth on the benches. What type of shade cloth is this?
50% knitted.
50% knitted. And where'd you get this from?
Arizona bag.
And how long is
So
that?
it's 4.5 feet because this comes in 10-foot widths. So you can cut the 10 foot down the middle and still have enough to work with. If these were 5 feet long, you'd be out of luck.
Okay, cool. And
So
we'll,
that's why it's 4.5, that weird size.
yeah, and we'll show you how do you staple this. You staple gun it on?
Like the electric staple gunner.
Okay, cool. Yeah, we'll show you how you staple these on. All right, so
Put center. Is it centered? I got a little bit here. You got a little bit there.
I got a little bit.
Okay, so I'm gonna put one here. I'm gonna go over here and put one here. Okay. Then I'm gonna go put one here. And I'm gonna put one here. Hey! And then maybe I'll put one here at the top. I like to put this blue at the top. It looks cool, but of course you don't have to. So we'll just put a few in now, kind of line it up. All right. Now we put it on his back. Go ahead and pull yours tight. So I'll just put one here to hold it for now. Right there for now. Here. Hold it in the other way, like that. All the way up, and then pull it tight. So we'll just put one here for now. And we'll just cut it a little bit.
and where do you cut it at?
I'm gonna make it extra long.
Oh,
I can
okay.
always trim it off. But right here, it doesn't have to go any farther than this. This is where they go.
And what type of staples are these?
These are 3/8 inch long.
Okay, and they just work perfectly on this type of
Yeah,
wood?
any longer they don't go in all the way. Okay.
Okay, now you're just stapling it all.
Yeah, we're gonna take some of the looseness out of it. See here. So that's why I just put a few in,
Oh, okay.
so that I can just. I have this little pry guy here. Now I can pull them a little tighter. Okay. Like it, because it's going to probably stretch a little bit. It's out in the elements for year after year. But this shade cloth lasts a long time. Tight. I don't fold the bottom.
Oh, okay, you just cut it off?
Just cut it off. Yeah, because if you put a fold in the bottom, and these are outside, leaves and stuff get caught. And if it's just straight, it's easier to get them out.
Oh, okay, so you just cut the rest off?
Yeah, you don't want, if it's on the bottom, leaves get stuck in there and dirt because gravity.
Yeah.
It's just, you don't, it's not that cool. I'm gonna move these plants out of the old benches. I'm gonna put them in the same order so they don't get mixed up. This is the middle of winter, so they're all sort of dormant. There we go. Yeah, a lot of aerial carpets. It's a mammillaria. Epithelantha. Another Epithelantha. Yeah, they're all really light because they're very dry. This is Kino cactus. Usually put a penny under them so some air will flow under there. Get these old pennies. Spell their worth. Yeah, these are pretty heavy, even though they're dried up. So that's why the bench has to be sturdy. And that this yellow rock, as I know which way points south. Let's fit these in like a puzzle.
And you want to keep them the same orientation you had them in the last bench too, right?
Yeah, you don't want to turn them. Like, see how they lean? I don't like turning them.
Because they lean towards the sun, right?
They do. This is a plastic pot inside a clay pot. Just because plastic pots tend to break apart. Here's some little mammillaria lentas I mean from seed. Kind of go here. Yeah, I put them in the same order because otherwise, this bench doesn't have too much. I think I had a plant die, so I have a little bit of room, which is good. It's always good to have extra room as some of them grow up from the seed bench. I can move them. I can put something there. Yeah, but now it's nice and sturdy, which is good.
So this is the benches finally complete. We got the 1, 2, 3, and 4, replacing these 4 over here. We painted them brown just to match the rest of them, and it kind of helps protect the wood, you know, make it last a little longer. But yeah, you can see all the plants are transferred into their new home, and there's, you know, some space here for us to get more stuff. It took us about 2 days to do all this, but bear in mind we were building 4 of them, so it's about a day of cutting and assembling, and then the next day we did painting, putting the screen on, and then transferring all the plants. So if you just build one of them, you could easily do it in a day, so not too bad. And super sturdy, so they should last a long time.
Which is good because those are super heavy.
Right, yeah, so they'll hold all your plants, especially when it rains. They're full of water. They'll withstand everything, and they should last a long time. The benches we've replaced are about 15 years old, and they were through some of the worst elements, so these ones should last a fair amount longer here. And we've had this design for, oh goodness, 20 plus years. You can see we've have plenty of them, so it works, and there's been modifications over the years.
These are handy if you move and you don't want to put a greenhouse and a rental.
Yeah, they're nice and mobile. So if you're short on space in like an apartment or you're moving around a lot, these are perfect. You can, with the handles, you can just move them about if you need to move them to be with the sun or if you're doing stuff in your backyard. So they're nice, but yeah.
Then when the rain comes, you put plastic on. And I use these thumb push tacks. And since this is new wood, they're not going to blow out. This is UV plastic. And yeah, you cover them up for when the rain comes in the winter. And I have all these pieces, so they're all cut for this size. That's why all the benches are the same size. So the plastics are interchangeable. We just had a big rainstorm, and this is the new benches we built with this plastic on it. And I leave a little bit of an air flow through here, and I don't bring the plastic all the way down here because you need, even though it's wet outside, you need some airflow. If it was completely enclosed, I'm afraid you might get too much humidity. So then take a look how dry they are. I use these pins. They go right into the wood. And I just flip this back, and put a pin here, will blow back on my face, and then we just grab a handle, just open it up. And you can see it's quite dry because these types of plants, these from Mexico, these Areocarpus and these Epithalanthas, these are all desert cactus, and you really don't want to water them in the winter. They're really going to want water in the summer. Now, if you have an extremely dry winter, you can give them a little bit of water. They'll probably be okay. But yeah, dry, you wouldn't want water to get on these dried flower pods that could cause rot. So keeps them dry. So these benches protect them from the sun, and you put the plastic on, and it protects them from the rain. And they do a pretty good job